Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to do a fight breakdown for Gilberto Ramirez, as he will be taking on Dimitry Bivol. So, I've already done a fight breakdown for Dimitry Bivol versus Ramirez. So now this is Ramirez versus Dimitry Bivol. So without further ado, we're about to jump on into this. Let's get it. So the first thing about Ramirez is, hey, he's a warrior, blood and guts. He's the type of guy who's gonna go for broke. He's not a softie, he's not a pushover, he's got a lot of knockouts, he hits hard. He's just a tough, rugged guy. He's just a good boxer, you know? Very long arms. And it's funny because normally when you see guys like Ramirez who are as aggressive as Ramirez, you probably see a body puncher, somebody who throws a lot of hooks. And he doesn't do that. He's more of a straight punch type of guy. And he likes distance. Unless it's just time to close out the show. He likes his distance. He works best from a distance. And again, it works in favor. I think everybody needs to understand their bodies. I think one of the things that's going to make, and I'm just talking to anybody who boxes or anything like that, understand your body type. Not to say that you can't be this type of fighter or that type of fighter just because of how you're built. But I think there are advantages to certain people who have certain body types. You look at like a Lennox Lewis. I mean, there are a lot of people who would say, well, Lennox is boring. He wasn't boring. He just understood his body. And he didn't put himself in harm's way because he understood his body. At that time when he was fighting, he was reigning supreme. He was a lot taller than a lot of his competition. So he would stand tall, he would lean back, he would lead with that jab, and he would just keep pumping that jab all night because he understood his body. You look at Tyson Fury. When I talk about understanding your body type, the dude truly understands his body type. And he understands all the advantages that he has with his body type. So the same thing with Ramirez. He understands his body type. He understands, hey, I have like really long arms, and I hit really hard. Well, speed kills. And, I'm going to use this thing like a ball and chain. I'm going to throw this thing from all the way back here. And when it cracks you, you're going to sleep. That's how he works it. And listen, if you have long arms like that and you have that type of punching power, yeah, you want to give your punches everything they need to be dynamite every time they come in contact with somebody's face. So, long arms, learn your body type. He is a tough guy. He's more of a toe-to-toe type of guy. I'm not going to say he doesn't have great footwork or anything. I'm not going to say he has great footwork, but he has basic footwork. I think, you are going up against Bivol, and anybody's going up against Bivol, you got to deal with Bivol's footwork, and that's a challenge in itself. Not to mention, there's going to be punches coming at your head, but you have to deal with Bivol's footwork. And, I think Ramirez has basic footwork. But he is good at cutting off rings. I will definitely give him that. I don't think he's the fastest guy in the world, but he is good at cutting off a ring. And when his opponents taste his punching power, it's a deterrent, and it's just like, honestly, all they want to do is back up. I don't see too many people trying to go forward with Ramirez. He's typically the aggressor, and he's typically walking them back, typically being the big brother in the situation. And yeah, he's going to have to cut up this ring with Bivol. That's going to have to be like a priority, and it's going to have to be like a round one priority. Like, I'm going to control this real estate. I'm going to back you up in this real estate. You're not going to be moving around all over this real estate. I feel like the footwork in this fight is going to be very, very important. It's important that Bivol can move around, but it's also important that Ramirez can cut off the ring. It's huge, and he has to implement that from round one. He has to set the tone from round one. You don't have nowhere to go. It's just me and you. I'm going to be in your face. I'm going to be in your chest all night. What are you going to do about it? Because I'm not going to let you skate off on this side or skate off on that side. There's I always talk about people's weapons and their arsenals and everything like that, but when it comes to Ramirez, there's a weapon that he has that he just doesn't get the credit for. Now he doesn't use it a whole lot, but when he does use it, he's very, very successful, and that's his uppercuts. He is like an amazing uppercut, and I don't know why he doesn't use it more. And granted, things change in a fight, and you have to feel a fight out. And it's one thing to see things on the outside as a spectator, such as myself, just being a fan of the sport. And it's something else to be in there. I get that. But when you have a jab like that, then I kind of feel like he'd be even more effective if he tailored his style around his in work. Because I feel like when he's on the inside like that, he's extremely effective. Now, I get it. He likes his space to operate. I get that. But when you have a jab like that, it can be a real effective weapon. And I mean a consistent weapon. A jab I feel like a jab a lot of times is something that people use when there's opportunity, or there's jab is something, an uppercut is something they use when there's an opportunity. Or the uppercut is something that they use when their back's against a rope or something like that, or when they're just, but that's a weapon just like the jab is a weapon. And it can be used as consistently as a jab. You can tailor a style around any weapon, like literally any weapon. Joe Frazier, he had that hook. I think it was the left hook. His whole boxing career was based on that left hook. It's literally geared toward that left hook. Deontay Wilder has one weapon, realistically speaking. He has one weapon. And he's not shy. We all know what it is, and we all know what it can do. And his whole fight style is based around it. Now, I'm not saying that Ramirez needs to base his fight style around the uppercut, but I'm saying he's so effective and he hits so hard. Why not gear things toward your strengths? That's all I'm saying. It's an amazing weapon when he uses it. He's good with it. He understands it. He understands how to get the twerk up in there. Everything. He understands that uppercut, and you can tell he practices it a lot because it's a money shot for him. And if he were to be more aggressive with it and more consistent with it, I think he'd be even more devastating than he is right now, and he's pretty scary as is. Another thing I would say, Ramirez is a volume puncher, which is going to be tough for Bivol to have the volume of Ramirez. He's like an Energizer bunny. He can push out a lot of punches in a round. And these big guys, they're not heavyweights and they're not small guys. So they still have their speed, but they're hitting extremely hard. So it's going to be interesting to see what Bivol's going to do to try to nullify the volume of punches that are coming at him from Ramirez. And again, Ramirez does not hit soft. He's not a pillow puncher. He's a heavy hitter. So it's going to be interesting to see how Bivol kind of solves that problem. How can he minimize the amount of punches that are coming at him? Now, one way that he can do that, I suppose, would just, again, go back to that footwork. Now, if you have Ramirez cutting off the ring, hopefully that's something that they're working on in the fight camp. How do we cut off the ring? How do we cut it off early? If he can do that, and if he can actually implement that early in the fight with that volume, it can be a lot of trouble for Dimitry Bivol. It can be trouble early for Dimitry Bivol. It can be trouble late as well, but it can definitely be trouble early if he can get that ring cut off soon enough. If he can just set the tone, you won't be skating around this ring. It's going to be interesting with all those punches coming at him. And like Dimitry Bivol, Ramirez has a great jab as well. So again, now it's going to come into play with, all right, who's going to be consistent with their jab and who's going to vary anything, who's going to vary their punches up. I know both of you guys like straight punches. I know both of you guys like jabs. So cutting off the ring is going to be huge. Bivol's ability to move is going to be huge. Chess match, everybody. It's going to be a chess match. Now, Ramirez is constantly moving forward, and a way to nullify or just kind of shut down somebody's footwork is to pressure them. So now you have Ramirez cutting off the ring. Now you have that pressure, and he likes to use that high guard a lot of times. Now you have that pressure. You have that high guard coming at you. You have a guy who hits hard. You have a guy who also has a lot of punches, like yourself. You know, this is no cakewalk. And I know, listen, we got these Eastern European guys, and they're amazing boxers. They are. And, you know, like your Usyks and your Lomachenkos, you know, they're amazing boxers. Bivol's an amazing boxer. You have to give credit where credit is due. He's an amazing boxer. Period. Nothing else to say about that. But there are ways to get under a guy's skin. Ramirez is not a pushover. Ramirez can take a punch, and Ramirez is going to be moving forward. Forward the whole night. Okay, until this thing is ended, until the last bell has rung, or he goes out, or he puts you out, that he's going to be moving forward. He's going to apply a lot of pressure. Because I know, they know in their camp, the main thing is we have to stop this man from moving. We have to get this man in a stationary position. How are we going to do that? Well, we know we have this blood and guts warrior right here who's willing to walk through fire. And he's going to have to walk through it. He's going to have to, apply that pressure. Make it extremely uncomfortable for Dimitry Bivol. Let's see. I mean, again, what else can you say when you talk about Ramirez? 44 fights, 30 KOs. You know what I'm saying? He's not a joke. Dude's just not a joke. He knows how to fight. He knows how to put guys down. He knows how to finish a fight. And not everybody who punches or knows how to punch knows how to finish. He's a finisher. He knows. He smells blood. He gets you out. You go to sleep. That's just how it works. He knows how to get you out of there. If Dimitry Bivol even remotely shows any signs of weakness, any signs of tiredness, any signs of fear, it's going to be a very, very long night. At that moment that Ramirez smells it, senses it, or sees it, it's going to be a very long night. Or hears it. He might hit Bivol, and he might wince or make a sound or something like that. And it's it. That's it. That's what happens when there's a predator around. That's it. All they need is a little bit of, fear or blood to trickle down or whatever. And they're going after it. And they're going after it full speed. Bottom line is Bivol has his hands full. Ramirez is just, like I said in the beginning, a blood and guts warrior. And he shows it every time. He comes to fight. He comes in shape. And he's the type of guy who likes to close it out. He doesn't like to leave things to judges, and that's another reason why I like him. He doesn't like to leave things to judges. And it's going to be a tough night for Bivol, and it's going to be an interesting fight. It really is. I think it is going to be I don't think it's going to be necessarily a cat and mouse, because that would suggest that, Bivol's going to run all night. But we know who Ramirez is, and we know what he's about. And clearly, we know who's going to be the stalker. Clearly, we know who's going to be walking who down. And I look forward to this fight. Tell me what you think of the fight breakdown. Drop your comments down below. I love to hear what you have to say. And as always, please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel.